whether it be due to stormy weather, piracy, or something else. There is documented evidence of numerous ghost ships drifting lifelessly on our oceans. This is all things creepy. Let's begin. In 2007, the SV Kaz-2 departed from the coasts of Australia. 3 days later, the boat was found abandoned over the Great Barrier Reef. GPS data suggested that it had remained in place since the first day of its departure. The boat was intact apart from one shredded sail. The 3 life jackets remained on board, as well as the emergency equipment. A meal was set to eat. A laptop was running as well as the engines. It was clear that this was not a planned evacuation of the vessel. Search parties gave up several days later, assuming it to be unlikely to survive for so long, so far out at sea. As a result, the whereabouts and final resting place of these sailors remains a mystery. Perhaps they were forcefully abducted. Maybe someone on the boat committed foul play. The common consensus is that they most likely fell simultaneously overboard and weren't able to get back in. However, this just raises more questions. What exactly knocked them overboard, and what prevented them from simply swimming back to boat and climbing on board? Until the bodies are recovered, that remains a mystery. In 2013, the MV Lyubov Orlova was being towed away to be decommissioned and scrapped. On its way to a Caribbean scrapyard, the former Soviet cruise ship broke free and drifted away into the sea. A day later, the ship was found 250 nautical miles east of its original location in Newfoundland, Canada. It was deemed unsafe to recover, and as a result is still out at sea. It's speculated that it must have sunk by now. However, when it was last seen, it was reported to contain a population of cannibalizing rats. From 2013 to 2017, over 100 small fishing boats have been reported drifting around Japanese coasts. Whilst the origins are hard to confirm, it's speculated that most of these vessels are from North Korea. All failed attempts to escape. Many are completely empty, whilst many contain the decomposing remains of those who starved or succumbed to the exposure on the long journey. The SV Carol A. Deering became derelict in 1921. Its final voyage coincided with the sinking of a number of other ships, of which it was initially believed to have sunken with. However, when it was eventually found, suspicions were raised. The logbook was taken, as well as the lifeboats. Initially, there was a lot of paranormal speculation. The place where it was found, Diamond Shoals, is not too far from the infamous Bermuda Triangle. However, more rational theorists believe it was more likely a mutiny or piracy, the ship possibly taking part in the sinking of the other ships. In 1969, the SV Teignmouth Electron was found abandoned. The yacht's final log was 10 days earlier. The fate of its solo crew member is dubious and still a mystery. It was later found out, however, that he was competing in a solo race around the world, and it's speculated that somewhere along the way he had a mental breakdown and committed suicide by jumping overboard. Of course, that remains speculation, but even if it is true, if there's ever been a haunted boat, I'd put my money on that one. Let me know which of these you find the creepiest.